In this QMobile video, we're going to look at the phrases for a single survey and how to use them to complete the inspection. Using the internal electricity page as an example, the section begins with completing a basic mandatory question: whether there is electricity present at the property and if it's mains or private source. If none is selected, then QMobile can add a standard phrase to both the description, which is in section 1, and the note, which represents section 2 of the single survey. The repair category is also auto-filled and the inspection can continue. If mains or private were selected, then further questions will show that can be answered. These are present to both help filter phrases and to act as a reminder for potentially filling out phrases later in the day. The repair category can also help to filter phrases and is the only other mandatory question in the section. Both the description and notes boxes are free text entry boxes. A surveyor can type any comments into these boxes without restriction. To the left of each box is a phrase tool button. Pressing this will show company approved phrases for that specific section. In the notes section, adding a rating will further help to filter the initial phrases shown, but not restrict the phrase that can be selected. The phrase list selection screen will show all applicable phrases with a reference number, a condition category, a brief title for each phrase, and then the full phrase text itself. Variable attributes within the phrase text are highlighted in blue text. These will need further editing using the phrase edit function. If a specific phrase cannot be found, then there is the option to select Show All Phrases to open the entire phrase file. Then the search bar can be utilised to find any phrase with a keyword or code and add that as a selection. Tapping the phrases that are applicable will move them to show as selected on the right hand side. If the phrase has any variable text, then there will be a cog icon in the top right hand corner. If there was no variable text, then the tick icon will appear instead. To reorder the selected phrases, push down on the phrase you want to move until it highlights. Then simply drag it above or below other selected phrases. To deselect the phrase, a small swipe left on the selected phrase will show an option to delete the selection and return it to the phrase selection list. Tapping on the selected phrase will open the phrase editor. The top panel shows the full phrase in context with all variable attributes highlighted. The bottom panel breaks the phrase into its component parts, allowing for user input and enable or disable options. The phrase text can be directly edited in the top panel, and any changes will be retained as part of the selected phrase for subsequent editing. The bottom panel works by tapping on options to build up the phrase. Multiple options are shown with a square tick box for each. Singular options are shown with a circular tick box. The slider option on the right hand side of the phrase turns the options on or off for the phrase in the top panel. To reset all the options selected, swipe right on the phrase selection on the right hand side to then press Reset. When the phrase is ready to be inserted into the inspection, pressing Insert Phrases and Close will close the editor and show the phrase in the text box. If a phrase has been inserted but requires editing, the site notes will flag this so that completion cannot be implemented by accident. Only when the phrase has been edited will the mandatory issue be resolved.